Before the law, before the prophets, before Israel was called, there was exile. This book, known as the first book of Adam and Eve, does not replace Scripture, nor does it contradict the Torah. Rather, it is an ancient companion text, a record preserved among early believers that explores what happened after Adam and Eve were driven from the garden. The Scriptures tell us why humanity fell. This book explores what that fall felt like. It speaks of grief, of repentance, of fasting, of prayer, and of the long wait for redemption. These writings were preserved in ancient Ethiopian and Arabic manuscripts and later translated into English. They were read and respected by early communities who sought to understand the human cost of disobedience, the nature of temptation, and the mercy of the Most High. The first book of Adam and Eve presents Adam not as a myth, but as a man, learning hunger for the first time, fear for the first time, labor for the first time, and death through his children. It presents Eve not as a villain, but as a woman of sorrow, intercession, and courage, often praying for Adam when he could not stand on his own. This book also reveals the character of the adversary, not as a cartoon, but as a deceiver who returns again and again, changing forms, using false light, false compassion, and false promises. And yet, above all these things, this book testifies to the patience, mercy, and long-suffering of Yah. Throughout the text, promises of redemption appear again and again, promises of a coming word, promises of restoration, promises that suffering would not be the end. These themes align with what later scriptures reveal more clearly, but here they appear in seed form, spoken to humanity at the very beginning. This book is not meant to be feared. It is not meant to replace scripture. It is meant to be read with discernment, humility, and prayer. As with all ancient writings, we test it against the word of Yah, retain what is true, and discard what is not. What you are about to hear is not doctrine. It is testimony. It is reflection. It is an ancient witness to the reality of exile and the hope of return. May Yah grant understanding to the listener, discernment to the heart, and peace to all who hear. Don't forget, do your own research. Let the reading begin.
The first book of Adam and Eve. On the third day, God planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world eastward, beyond which, towards the sun rising, one finds nothing but water that encompasses the whole world and reaches unto the borders of heaven. And to the north of the garden there is a sea of water, clear and pure to the taste, like unto nothing else, so that through the clearness thereof one may look into the depths of the earth. When a man washes himself in it, he becomes clean of the cleanness thereof, and white of its whiteness, even if he were dark. God created that sea of his own good pleasure, for he knew what would come of the man he should make, so that after he had left the garden, on account of his transgression, men should be born in the earth, among whom righteous ones should die, whose souls God would raise at the last day. But when God made Adam go out of the garden, he did not place him on the border of it northward, lest Adam and Eve should wash themselves, be cleansed from their sins, and forget the transgression they had committed. Nor did God place him on the southern side, lest the sweet smell of the trees bring him consolation, and he forget his punishment. Because God is merciful and of great pity, and governs all things in a way he alone knows, he made Adam dwell in the western border of the garden. And God commanded him to dwell there in a cave in a rock, the cave of treasures, below the garden. When Adam and Eve went out of the garden, they trod the ground, not knowing they were treading. When they saw the broad earth spread before them, covered with stones and sand, they feared, they trembled, and fell on their faces. They were as dead. They had been in a land beautifully planted, and now they stood in a strange land they had never seen. And because they were filled with a bright nature, and had not yet turned their hearts toward earthly things, God had pity on them. He sent His word and raised them from where they had fallen. God said to Adam, I have ordained days and years upon this earth. Thou and thy seed shall dwell in it until the days are fulfilled. At the end of 5 days and a half, I will send my word and save thee. Adam did not understand these words. He thought there would be only 5 days and a half until the end of the world, and Adam wept. God explained to him that these were 5,500 years, and that one would come and save him and his seed. When Adam came to the gate of the garden and saw the cherub with a sword of flashing fire, he and Eve trembled and fell on their faces in fear. But mercy was shown to them, and the word came again and said, Strengthen thy heart and abide in the cave of treasures. Adam was comforted. Adam and Eve went down into the cave. Adam wept and said to Eve, Look at this cave, that is to be our prison in this world, and a place of punishment. What is it compared with the garden? What is this darkness compared with the light we once knew? He did not wish to enter the cave, yet he obeyed, lest he transgress again. They entered the cave and prayed. Adam smote upon his breast, and fell as though dead. Eve believed him dead. She rose, spread her hands toward God, and wept. O God, forgive me my sin, for I alone caused thy servant to fall, from light into darkness, from joy into this prison. If thou wilt not raise him, then take my soul also, for I cannot live alone in this world. And Eve wept bitterly, and fell upon Adam. God looked upon them, for they had brought themselves near unto death through great grief. Yet he would raise them and comfort them. So he sent his word unto them, that they should stand and be raised forthwith. You transgressed of your own free will until you came out of the garden in which I had placed you. Of your own free will have you transgressed through your desire for divinity, greatness, and an exalted state like unto mine. Therefore I deprived you of the bright nature in which you then were, and made you come out of the garden into this land, rough and full of trouble. If only you had not transgressed my commandment. There were fruit trees in the garden better than that one. But the wicked one, who continued not in his first estate, he it is who made the tree appear pleasant in your eyes, until you ate of it. Thus have you transgressed my commandment, and therefore have I brought upon you all these sorrows. For I am the Creator, and I did not intend to destroy my creatures. But when they harden themselves and repent not, they shall be under a curse. When Adam and Eve heard these words, they wept yet more, but they strengthened their hearts, because they now felt that the Lord was to them as a father and as a mother. And God had pity on them and said, I have made my covenant with thee, O Adam, and I will not turn from it. Thou shalt not return to the garden until the covenant of the great 5 days and a half is fulfilled. Adam said, O Lord, before I transgressed, thou madest all beasts come unto me, and I named them according to thy will. But now the beasts will rise against us and devour me and Eve. I beseech thee, do not let the beasts hurt us. God had pity on Adam, and he commanded the beasts and the birds and all that moves upon the earth to be familiar with Adam and not trouble him or Eve. And the beasts obeyed, all except the serpent. Adam wept and said, O God, when we dwelt in the garden, we saw the angels that sang praises in heaven, but now we do not see as we did before. When we entered the cave, all creation became hidden from us. The Word answered him, When thou wast under subjection to me, thou hadst a bright nature within thee, and couldst see things afar off. But after thy transgression, that bright nature was withdrawn. Thou canst now see only near at hand, after the ability of the flesh. Adam and Eve went their way, praising and worshiping God with sorrowful hearts. They came out of the cave of treasures and drew near to the garden gate. They stood and looked upon it, and wept. They went to the southern side of the garden and found the water that flowed from under the tree of life, and parted itself into 4 rivers. Adam smote upon his breast and said, Why hast thou brought upon us and upon our seed so many punishments? Eve answered, What hast thou seen to speak thus to me? Adam said, Seest thou not this water that once watered the garden? When we were in the garden, we cared not for it, but now we love it, for our bodies are weak. From the soreness of their weeping, they fell into the water, and would have ended their lives there, so as never again to behold the creation. But God, merciful and gracious, looked upon them. He sent an angel who drew them from the water and laid them upon the shore as dead. The angel went up and said, O God, thy creatures have breathed their last. Then the word was sent, and Adam and Eve were raised. Adam said, O God, when we were in the garden, we required not this water, but now we cannot live without it. The Word answered, While thou wast under my command, thou knewest not this water, but now thy body is like that of beasts, and requires it. Adam wept bitterly, and asked to return to the garden. But God said, I have made thee a promise. When that promise is fulfilled, I will bring thee back, thee and thy righteous seed. And God ceased to commune with Adam. Adam and Eve felt themselves burning with thirst, with heat, and with sorrow. Adam said to Eve, We shall not drink of this water, even if we were to die. For when this water enters our bodies, it will increase our punishments, and the punishments of our children who shall come after us. They withdrew from the water and entered again into the cave of treasures. But when Adam was in the cave, he could not see Eve. He only heard the sound of her, nor could Eve see Adam. She only heard his voice. Adam wept in deep affliction and smote upon his breast. He cried out, Where art thou? Eve answered softly, I am standing here in the darkness. Adam said, Remember the bright nature in which we lived when we dwelt in the garden. O Eve, remember the glory that rested upon us. Remember the trees that overshadowed us while we moved among them. Remember that in the garden we knew neither night nor day. Think of the tree of life, from beneath which the water flowed, and whose light surrounded us. Remember the garden land and its brightness. For no sooner did we enter this cave than darkness compassed us about, until we could no longer see one another, and all the pleasure of this life has come to an end. They mourned through the whole night until dawn drew near. Adam threw himself upon the ground in bitter grief and lay as though dead. Eve heard the sound of his fall. She felt for him with her hands and found him like a corpse. She stood in silence, afraid to speak. But the merciful Lord looked upon Adam's condition and upon Eve's fear. The Word came and raised Adam from his fallen state, and opened Eve's mouth to speak. Adam arose and said, O God, wherefore has light departed from us? Why has darkness come upon us? Why dost thou leave us in this long darkness? For while we were in the garden, we did not know what darkness was. I was not hidden from Eve, nor Eve from me. Yet now darkness separates us. Wilt thou then plague us with this darkness? The answer came. So long as the good angel was obedient to me, a bright light rested upon him. But when he transgressed my commandment, I deprived him of that bright nature, and he became dark. And so it was with thee, O Adam. When thou wast obedient, that bright light rested upon thee. But when thou didst transgress, I deprived thee of it. Yet in my mercy I did not turn thee into darkness. I made thee a body of flesh, able to bear cold and heat. If I had poured out my wrath fully, I would have destroyed thee. But this darkness is not forever. It is only for 12 hours, and daylight shall return. This darkness is not a punishment. I made the day and placed the sun in it, that thou and thy children might do their work. Adam said, O Lord, take thou my soul, and let me not see this gloom any more, or remove me to a place where there is no darkness. The Word answered, This darkness shall pass from thee each day that I have appointed for thee, until the fulfillment of my covenant. Then I will save thee, and bring thee again into the abode of light. I will bring thee into the kingdom of heaven. When I shall come down from heaven, and become flesh of thy seed, the darkness that came upon thee in this cave shall come upon me in the grave. And I, who am without years, shall be reckoned among the sons of men, in order to save thee. And God ceased to commune with Adam. Adam and Eve wept, not only because they could not return to the garden yet, but because God had told them that He Himself would suffer for their salvation. Adam and Eve continued in the cave, standing in prayer and weeping, until the morning dawned. When the light returned, they restrained their fear and strengthened their hearts. Adam came forth from the cave and stood at its mouth, turning his face toward the east. He saw the sun rise in glowing rays and felt its heat upon his body, and he was afraid. He thought in his heart that this flame had come forth to plague him. Adam wept, smote upon his breast, and fell upon his face. O Lord, he cried, plague me not, consume me not, take not away my life. For Adam thought the sun was God. While he had been in the garden, he heard the voice of God and feared him. Yet he had never seen the sun, nor felt its burning heat. But the word came to him and said, O Adam, arise and stand. This sun is not God. It was created to give light by day, as I spoke to thee in the cave. I am God, who comforted thee in the night. And God ceased to commune with Adam. Adam and Eve came forth again and walked toward the garden. But near the western gate, they saw the serpent that had become Satan, licking the dust, wriggling upon its breast, because of the curse that had fallen upon it. Once it had been exalted above all beasts. Now it was the meanest of them all. When the serpent saw Adam and Eve, it swelled its head, stood upon its tail, and rushed toward Eve. Adam stood weeping, having no weapon with which to strike it, yet his heart burned for Eve. He seized the serpent by the tail, and it turned toward him and said, Because of thee and of Eve, I am made to crawl upon my belly. The serpent threw them down and pressed upon them as though it would kill them. But God sent an angel who cast the serpent away and raised Adam and Eve. The word then spoke in judgment. At first I made thee glib and did not deprive thee of speech. But now be thou dumb and speak no more. For through thee came the ruin of my creatures, and now thou seekest to destroy them. The serpent was struck dumb and spoke no more. A wind came from heaven and carried it away to a distant land. Adam and Eve wept before God. Adam said, O Lord, when I was in the cave, I feared that the beasts would devour us. The word answered, O Adam, not one of these beasts shall hurt thee. When I commanded them to come unto thee, I did not allow the serpent among them. fear not. I am with thee unto the end of the days appointed unto thee. Adam wept again and said, O God, remove us to another place, lest the serpent return and find Eve alone and destroy her. The Word answered, Henceforth fear not. I have driven it away. It shall not come near you again, nor shall any harm remain in it. Then Adam and Eve worshipped God and gave him thanks, and they praised him for having delivered them from death. Adam and Eve went again in search of the garden. The heat beat upon their faces like a flame. They sweated and wept before the Lord. They came near a high mountain, facing the western gate of the garden. Then Adam cast himself down from the top of the mountain. His flesh was torn, his blood flowed, and he lay near unto death. Eve stood above him, weeping. I will not live after him, she said, for all that has come upon him has come through me. She then threw herself down after him, and was torn by stones, and lay as though dead. But the merciful God, who looks upon his creatures, looked upon Adam and Eve as they lay dead, and he sent his word and raised them. O Adam, the Word said, all this misery will not change my covenant, nor will it avail against my rule. Adam said, I wither in the heat. I am faint from walking. I am weary of this world. When wilt thou bring me out of it to rest? The Word answered, It cannot be now, not until thou hast ended thy days. Then I will bring thee out of this wretched land. Adam said, When I was in the garden, I knew neither heat nor fear. But since I came to this land, all this suffering has come upon me. The Word replied, So long as thou didst keep my commandment, my light rested upon thee. But when thou didst transgress, sorrow and misery befell thee. Adam wept and said, O Lord, do not cut me off, nor smite me according to my sin. For of our own will we transgressed thy commandment when the enemy deceived us. The Word answered, Because thou hast borne fear and suffering in this land, I will take all this upon myself in order to save thee. Adam and Eve then girded themselves. They took stones and built an altar. They wiped the blood from the rock and gathered the dust mingled with blood. They placed it upon the altar as an offering. They stood beneath the altar and wept, saying, Forgive us our trespass and our sin. When we were in the garden, our praises rose before thee without ceasing. But now, pure praise is no longer ours. Yet look upon our blood, and accept it at our hands as the praise we once offered thee. God looked upon them, and upon their offering. A bright fire came forth from his presence and consumed it. He smelled the sweet savor and showed them mercy. The Word said, O Adam, as thou hast shed thy blood, so will I shed my own blood when I become flesh of thy seed. As thou didst build an altar, so will I make for thee an altar upon the earth. As thou didst seek forgiveness through blood, so will my blood be forgiveness of sins. God then warned Adam, knowing that he might again seek to destroy himself. Do not again kill thyself, the Word said. Adam remained silent. The Word blessed him, comforted him, and covenanted with him to save him at the end of the days appointed. This was the first offering Adam made unto God, and from that day it became his custom to do so. Adam took Eve, and they began to return to the cave of treasures where they dwelt. But when they drew near to it and saw it from afar, heavy sorrow fell upon them. Adam said, When we were upon the mountain, we were comforted by the word of God, and the light from the east shone over us. But now the word is hidden from us, and the light that shone has disappeared. Darkness and sorrow return. We are forced to enter this cave like a prison, where darkness covers us, and thou canst not see me, neither can I see thee. They wept and spread their hands before God, entreating him to bring the sun to them, that darkness return not again. They wished to die rather than see the darkness. The Word answered, If I were to take the sun and bring it unto thee, days and years would come to naught, and my covenant with thee would never be fulfilled. Bear long and calm thy soul. Abide night and day until the fulfillment of my covenant. Then shall I come and save thee. Adam and Eve worshipped God, and their hearts were comforted. When Satan saw that Adam and Eve continued in prayer, and that God communed with them, he made an apparition. He transformed his hosts, and they appeared in a great light. He placed his throne near the mouth of the cave, for he could not enter it because of their prayers. The cave glistened with light, and his hosts sang praises. Adam and Eve thought they were angels sent by God, but Adam said within himself, If they were from God, they would enter the cave and tell us their errand. Adam prayed, O Lord, is there another God besides thee, who sends angels in this manner? Then an angel from God appeared in the cave and said, Fear not, this is Satan and his hosts. He comes as an angel of light to deceive you, as he did before. The angel seized Satan at the entrance of the cave and stripped him of his false appearance. Adam and Eve saw his hideous form and were afraid. The angel drove Satan away and said, Fear not, God will strengthen you. Yet Satan did not cease. He came again upon a cloud with his hosts, pretending to lead Adam and Eve to the sea of water to bathe and be restored. He said, God has sent me to bring you to the clear sea, that you may bathe and return to your former joy. God withheld his word to test Adam's heart. Adam and Eve followed Satan at some distance. When they came to a very high mountain without steps, Satan sought to throw them down and kill them. But God spoke in a loud voice, and Satan fled. The word said, Know thou, O Adam, that Satan seeks to deceive thee and thy seed after thee. Adam wept and asked God for a token from the garden, that he might be comforted. God sent his angel to the sea that reaches unto India, and brought from thence golden rods. They were given to Adam, that they might shine by night and comfort him in the darkness. God then sent other angels into the garden. One brought incense from the eastern border, another brought myrrh from the western border. These three tokens were brought to Adam: gold as a sign of kingship, incense as a sign of divinity, myrrh as a sign of suffering. God said, These are tokens of the things that shall come to pass when I shall become flesh and save thee. The angels placed the gold, the incense, and the myrrh in the cave of treasures. Adam rejoiced, for God had not forgotten him. After these things, God spoke again to Adam. Thou didst ask of me something from the garden, that thou mightest be comforted. I have given thee three tokens, that thou trust in me and in my covenant. For I will come and save thee. Kings shall bring me gifts when I am in the flesh: gold, incense, and myrrh. Gold as a token of my kingdom, incense as a token of my divinity, myrrh as a token of my suffering and of my death. Put these by thee in the cave. Let the gold give thee light by night. Let the incense be a sweet savor. Let the myrrh comfort thee in thy sorrow. When Adam heard these words, he worshipped God, and Eve worshipped with him. They gave thanks, for God had dealt mercifully with them. God commanded the angels who had brought these gifts to give them into Adam's hand. Other angels were sent to bear Adam and Eve down from the mountain and bring them into the cave of treasures. They laid the gold on the south side of the cave, the incense on the east, and the myrrh on the west. Then the angels comforted them and departed. Adam and Eve remained in the cave until the seventh day. They neither ate food nor drank water. On the eighth day, Adam said to Eve, "Let us go to the sea of water we saw before and stand in it, praying that God may forgive us and show us mercy." They went and stood in the water, praying with fervent hearts. They remained thus praying for 35 days. But Satan, the hater of all good, sought them in the cave and found them not. He found them standing in the water, praying, and said in his heart, "I will deceive them, that they may come out of the water and not fulfill their vow." He went to Eve and took the form of an angel. "Peace be unto thee," he said. "Be glad and rejoice. God has sent me to tell thee that Adam is restored and filled again with bright light." Eve rejoiced and came out of the water, but when she reached Adam, Satan hid himself. Adam perceived what had happened and wept bitterly. From the weight of his grief, he sank again into the water. God looked upon Adam as he was near unto death. The word came and raised him. "Go up to Eve," the word said. Adam took Eve, and they returned together to the cave. On the morning of the 43rd day, they came out of the cave weak, lean, and parched from hunger and thirst. They went up the mountain and prayed again. Adam lifted his voice and said, "O my Lord and my God, thou didst create me from the dust and bring me into the garden. Thou gavest me understanding and command over all beasts. But now, because of our transgression, hunger and thirst have come upon us. We have tasted nothing for many days. Our flesh is dried up. Our strength is wasted. We dare not take fruit from the earth without thy command. Therefore, O God, give us something to eat, lest we perish." God looked upon Adam and upon his weeping, and he answered, "When thou wast in my garden, thou knewest neither hunger nor thirst. But since thou hast come into this strange land, these trials have come upon thee." Adam and Eve bowed themselves before God and waited for his mercy. God commanded the cherub who kept the gate of the garden with a sword of fire in his hand to take of the fruit of the fig tree and give it to Adam. The cherub went into the garden and brought 2 figs on 2 twigs, each fig hanging to its leaf. They were from the very trees among which Adam and Eve had hidden themselves when the voice had called, "Adam, Adam, where art thou?" The cherub threw the figs to them from afar, for Adam and Eve could not come near him, their flesh being unable to approach the fire. Once, the angels trembled at the presence of Adam. Now, Adam trembled before the angels. Adam took 1 fig, Eve took the other. As they held them, they knew they were from the trees beneath which they had hidden their nakedness. Adam said to Eve, "Seest thou these figs and their leaves, with which we covered ourselves when we were stripped of our bright nature? We know not what suffering may come upon us if we eat them. Let us restrain ourselves and ask God rather for the fruit of the tree of life." So Adam and Eve did not eat. Adam prayed and said, "O God, we transgressed thy commandment 1 hour, and all these trials have come upon us. These 43 days of fasting do not redeem that 1 hour. Look upon us with pity, and requite us not according to our sin." Then the word came and said, "As to the fruit of the tree of life, I will not give it thee now, but when 5,500 years are fulfilled, then shalt thou eat and live forever, thou and Eve and thy righteous seed. These days cannot make amends for the hour of transgression. Go, eat of the fig tree, and strengthen thy body." Adam returned to Eve. "Arise," he said, "take a fig for thyself, and I will take another. Let us go to our cave." They walked as the sun was setting, yet Adam hesitated. "I am afraid to eat this fig," he said. "I know not what may come upon me from it." He stood and prayed, satisfy my hunger without this fig, O God? For when it is gone, what shall I ask of thee? Then the Word answered, O Adam, why hadst thou not this fear before thou didst transgress? Now thy body is animal flesh, and cannot live without earthly food. It requires nourishment to restore its strength. And God withdrew his word. Adam took the fig and laid it upon the golden rods. Eve also took her fig and placed it upon the incense. The weight of each fig was like that of a watermelon, for the fruit of the garden was far greater than the fruit of this land. Adam and Eve stood fasting the whole night until the morning dawned. When the sun rose, they were at their prayers. Adam said to Eve, O Eve, come, let us go to the border of the garden, looking south, to the place from which the river flows and is parted into 4 heads. There we will pray to God and ask him to give us to drink of the water of life. They stood by the river and prayed before the Lord. Adam lifted his voice and said, O Lord, when I was in the garden, my heart did not desire this water, neither did my body require it. But now I am dead. My flesh is parched with thirst. Give me of the water of life, that I may drink and live. Then the word came and said, O Adam, it cannot be this day, but when I shall descend and break the gates of brass, and bruise the kingdoms of iron, then will I save thee. And when I shall shed my blood in the land of Golgotha, my blood shall be the water of life unto thee, and unto all thy seed who shall believe. The word spoke again, Drink now of the water that flows by thee upon the face of the earth. Adam and Eve worshiped the Lord and returned to the cave. When they drew near to the cave, they saw a great fire burning by it. Adam said, What is this fire? We have not kindled it. But this fire was of Satan, who had gathered dry wood and set it ablaze to consume the cave and all that was in it. He sought to cut off their trust in God and make them despair. But God sent his angel to guard the cave, and the fire could not consume it. The fire burned from midday until dawn. Adam and Eve stood watching, afraid to draw near. Then the word came and said, Go hence. Once before thou didst deceive my servants, and now thou seekest to destroy them. Were it not for my mercy, I would destroy thee and thy hosts from off the earth. Satan fled. Adam rose and prayed unto God, and the word answered, See now, O Adam, how Satan has exalted thee. He promised thee divinity, yet he made fire to destroy thee. Thinkest thou that he loved thee when he made thee these promises? But look at me, I created thee. How many times have I delivered thee out of his hand? Then God commanded the fire to part itself asunder. A way was made, and Adam and Eve passed through and entered the cave, and God withdrew his word. Adam and Eve began again to enter the cave. As they passed between the fire, Satan blew upon it like a whirlwind, and the flame became a burning coal fire. Their bodies were scorched. They cried aloud, O Lord, save us! Leave us not to be consumed by this fire, nor require us for having transgressed thy commandment. God looked upon their bodies, burned by the fire. He sent his angel, who stayed the burning, yet the marks of the fire remained upon them. Then the word spoke and said, See Satan's love for thee, who promised thee the Godhead and greatness. Behold how he burns thee with fire and seeks to destroy thee. But look upon me, O Adam. I created thee, and how many times have I delivered thee out of his hand? Adam and Eve entered the cave, trembling. Adam said, Lo, the fire has burned our flesh in this world. How then shall it be when we are dead, and Satan seeks to punish our souls? Is not our deliverance far off, unless God come and fulfill his promise? But Satan, the hater of all good, thought within himself, I will kill Adam, that the earth may be left to me alone, and God may restore me to my former kingdom. He gathered his hosts and took a huge rock, broad and even, thinking to crush Adam and Eve beneath it. They hurled the rock down upon them, but God commanded the rock to become a covering, like a shed over them. The earth shook. Adam and Eve awoke beneath the rock and were afraid. Adam said, Does God intend to plague us with this rock, or to shut us up in this prison? Adam prayed that the meaning of this sign might be made known. Then the word came and said, Fear not, O Adam. This came from Satan, who sought to kill thee. But in mercy I commanded the rock to become an awning over thee. This sign shall happen when I come upon the earth. They shall lay me in a rock and seal a great stone upon me. But on the third day I shall rise again, and it shall be salvation to thee and to thy seed. Adam and Eve remained beneath the rock 3 days and 3 nights. Afterward, God opened the rock and brought them out. They returned to the cave of treasures and prayed the whole of that day and the whole of that night. When morning came, Adam said to Eve, Come, let us go and do some work for our bodies. They went forth to seek something to cover their nakedness, but they found nothing. Adam prayed that God would show him something wherewith to cover their bodies. The Word answered, Go to the seashore. There ye shall find skins of sheep, whose flesh has been devoured by beasts. Take them, and make garments for yourselves. Adam and Eve obeyed. When Adam heard these words, he took Eve and went toward the river of water, where they had fasted before. But Satan heard the word concerning Adam's covering, and it grieved him. He hastened to the place where the sheepskins lay, intending to destroy them, so that Adam and Eve might not be clothed. But before he could take them, the word came from heaven and bound Satan beside the skins until Adam and Eve drew near. When Adam and Eve saw him bound, they were afraid of his hideous form. The word then said, This is he who was hidden in the serpent, and who deceived you, and stripped you of the garment of light and glory. This is he who promised you majesty and divinity. Where now is his beauty? Where is his light? Where is the glory that rested upon him? What then is his beauty, that you should have followed him? Then the word released Satan, and he fled. Adam and Eve wept before God, because their bodies now required an earthly covering. Adam said, These are the skins of beasts with which we shall be clothed. When we put them on, it is a token of death, for the owners of these skins have died. God sent his angel to show Adam how to prepare the skins. Adam brought palm thorns, and the angel showed him how to fasten the skins together. By God's power, the thorns were hidden, and the skins became garments. God clothed Adam and Eve. Their nakedness was covered from each other's eyes. This happened at the end of the 51st day. Adam and Eve then went forth toward the western border, but Satan appeared before them in the form of 2 ravenous lions, as though to tear them in pieces. They wept and prayed, and the word came and drove the lions away. The word said, O Adam, from thee shall go forth a seed that shall defile themselves with sin. Because of this, I will bring upon them the waters of a flood, but I will deliver the righteous and bring them to a distant land. Adam and Eve returned to the cave of treasures, weak from fasting and sorrow. They prayed the whole night, and at dawn they went out again. They wandered, not knowing where they went. They came to the eastern border of the garden. Suddenly, the cherub appeared with a sword of flashing fire. Adam and Eve fell on their faces and were as dead. The heavens and the earth shook. Angels descended and stood between joy and sorrow, wondering whether God would restore Adam to the garden. Then the word came and raised Adam and Eve. "Why came ye hither?" the word said. "It shall not be until my covenant is fulfilled." The angels spoke of Satan's fall and of his war against Adam. They prayed God to bear with Adam until the fulfillment of the promise. Then the word said, "Arise, go down hence, lest the cherub destroy you." God commanded his angels to escort Adam and Eve back to the cave with joy instead of fear. The word came again and spoke unto Adam. "O Adam, look at the garden of joy, and look at this earth of toil. Behold the angels in the garden, and see thyself alone upon the earth, with Satan, whom thou didst obey. If thou hadst kept my word, thou wouldst have been with my angels in the place of light. But when thou didst hearken to Satan, thou camest to this land that brings forth thorns and thistles. Yet acknowledge my mercy, for I have not requited thee according to thy transgression. At the end of the great 5 days and a half, I will come and save thee." Adam's heart was comforted. He worshipped before God. God commanded his angels to escort Adam and Eve down from the mountain and bring them again to the cave of treasures. They brought them with joy instead of fear. After the angels departed, Satan came and stood at the entrance of the cave. Adam went out, thinking he was one of God's angels. But Satan said, "It is I who hid myself within the serpent and beguiled Eve, and through her deceived thee. I fell through that for which I made thee fall, and whosoever follows my counsel falls with me. By reason of thy fall, thou art under my rule, and I am king over thee." Adam wept bitterly and said to Eve, "We will ask God who created us to deliver us out of his hands." Adam and Eve spread their hands unto God, praying him to drive Satan away and not allow him to do them harm. God sent his angel at once, who drove Satan away from them. This happened about sunset on the 53rd day after they had come out of the garden. Adam and Eve entered the cave. They resolved in their hearts not to come out again until 40 days were fulfilled, whether by day or by night. But Satan did not cease. He came again with his hosts, entered the cave, and smote Adam and Eve until they lay as though dead. The word came and raised them. "Be strong," it said, "and fear not him who has smitten thee." Adam wept and cried, "O Lord, where wast thou when we were smitten?" The word answered, "If thou hadst prayed thus before, thou wouldst have had rest from this trouble." Yet God bore patiently with Adam and allowed him and Eve to remain in the cave until the 40 days were fulfilled. On the 89th day, Satan came again, appearing as an old man. He was clothed in light, with a staff in his hand. His face was gentle, and his speech was sweet. He said, "O Adam, rise, thou and Eve, and come with me to a land of rest. I am flesh and bone like thee, and was once placed by God in a garden. God sent me to bring you to my dwelling, to eat of the tree of life and be restored." His words were gentle, his tears flowed like water, and Adam and Eve believed him, thinking him truthful. Satan took Adam and Eve by the hand and began to lead them out of the cave. But God knew that Satan had overcome them, and that he sought to destroy them before the 40 days were fulfilled. So the word came again, and cursed Satan, and drove him away. Then the Word said, "What made you come out of the cave?" Adam answered, "There came unto us a good old man, who said he was sent by God to bring us to a place of rest, and we believed him and followed him." The Word replied, "That is the father of evil arts, who deceived thee and brought thee out of the garden. He showed himself in the likeness of thee, for otherwise he could not have deceived thee. But in mercy I did not allow him to destroy you." Then the Word commanded, "Return to your cave and remain in it until the morrow of the 40th day." Adam and Eve worshiped God and returned to the cave. But Satan was envious of the consolation God had given them. He went into the cave and took the 2 figs and buried them outside, thinking to destroy them. But by God's mercy, the figs became 2 fruit trees that grew and overshadowed the cave. When Satan saw this, he mourned and said, "Better had it been to leave the figs as they were, for God has overturned my counsel." Adam and Eve came near the cave and saw the 2 fig trees. Adam said, "When did these trees grow here? Has the enemy deceived us again?" They entered the cave and found the figs gone. Adam prayed, "O God, hast thou taken the figs, or have we been led astray? Reveal unto us the secret of these trees." The Word answered, "Satan took the figs, thinking to destroy them. But I commanded them to grow, that thou mightest see my power and my mercy. Rejoice therefore, and rest beneath them, but eat not of their fruit." Adam wept and said, "O God, wilt thou again destroy us, or drive us from thy face?" Then God looked upon Adam and upon his endurance. He changed the trees back into figs and said, "Each of you may take 1 fig. Go into the cave and eat, lest ye die." Adam and Eve feared to eat, for they were not accustomed to earthly food. God sent his angel to instruct them. "Eat," the angel said, "and strengthen your bodies, for ye are now animal flesh." Adam and Eve ate and were satisfied. The figs were made full again by the power of God. They arose and prayed with joyful hearts and renewed strength. They praised God the whole of that night. But when morning came, their bodies were troubled by the food they had eaten. Adam cried, "O God, shall we perish through this food?" God fitted them with organs for eating, that they should not perish. Then Adam and Eve knew that their bodies were changed, and that their hope of returning to the garden was now cut off. Adam said, "Henceforth we are of the earth, until the day God shall save us and bring us again into the garden." They prayed, and their longing was quieted. They became as strangers upon the earth. When morning came, the day after they had eaten food, Adam and Eve prayed in the cave. Adam said to Eve, "Lo, we asked God for food, and he gave it. Now let us ask him to give us water to drink." They went to the stream of water on the southern border of the garden and stood praying. The Word came and said, "O Adam, thy body is become of the earth, and requires water to drink. Take ye and drink, thou and Eve, and give thanks." They drank of the water until their bodies were refreshed. They praised God and returned to the cave. After this, God showed Adam a land of dark soil where wheat was growing. God gave Adam wisdom to work the grain until it became bread. Adam labored until he was faint and weary, then returned rejoicing in what he had learned. But Satan saw the wheat and gathered his hosts. "Let us burn it," he said, "and pour out their water, that they may perish of hunger and thirst." Satan burned the wheat and emptied the water. Then he appeared again, pretending to be angels, and said to Adam, "God has sent us to show thee another field of corn and a fountain of good water." Adam believed him and followed. For 8 days Satan led them astray, until Adam and Eve fell down as though dead from hunger and thirst. Then God looked upon them and sent his word and raised them. Adam cried, O God, thou hast burned the corn and poured out the water. Wilt thou make us perish? The word answered, I did not burn the wheat nor pour out the water. It was Satan to whom thou didst listen. Now acknowledge my good deeds done unto thee. God restored the wheat and the water, and commanded his angels to guard them. They found manna upon a tree, and God commanded them to eat when they were hungry. Adam and Eve made an offering of the corn upon the altar. A fire came down from heaven and consumed the offering. God said, This shall be a custom unto you when affliction and sorrow come upon you. But Satan, envious of the offering, took a sharp stone and smote Adam upon the right side. Blood and water flowed, and Adam fell upon the altar as though dead. The word came and raised Adam. Thus shall it be, the word said, when I am pierced, and blood and water shall flow from my side. Adam finished the offering, and God healed him. After this, Satan appeared again in the likeness of an angel with two others. They greeted Adam with fair words. Satan said, God has sent us to tell thee to wed Eve, that she may bear thee children and comfort thee. Adam hesitated, for God had not spoken this word. Satan caused Adam to swear falsely, placing his hand into Satan's hand. Then Satan revealed his deceit and fled. Adam repented bitterly and returned to the cave of treasures, weeping before God.
Adam was troubled greatly in his heart because of the words Satan had spoken to him concerning his marriage with Eve. He said within himself, Shall I commit sin against my own flesh and bones and offend God again? If I do this thing without God's command, he will destroy me and blot me out from the face of the earth. Then Adam perceived that those who spoke to him were not angels of God, but devils in disguise. Away from me, he cried, ye cursed of God. They fled from before him. Adam returned to the cave of treasures and spread his hands unto God, beseeching him with tears to forgive the oath he had sworn. The word came and forgave him, saying, Beware of Satan. After this, Satan returned with his hosts and transformed themselves into maidens of exceeding beauty. They came up from the river and spoke fair words, seeking to inflame Adam's heart with lust. Adam felt the fire of sin rise within him, yet he restrained himself for fear of God. He said to Eve, Let us ask the Lord concerning this matter, lest we perish through disobedience. They returned to the cave and prayed through the night. Then God looked upon Adam's patience and approved his waiting. The word came and said, O Adam, thou hast done well to wait for my commandment. Angels were sent who had brought gold, incense, and myrrh. They said, Take the gold and give it to Eve as a wedding gift. Afterward, pray and fast 40 days and 40 nights. Then thou shalt come unto thy wife, and it shall be pure and undefiled. Adam obeyed. He betrothed Eve, and afterward they fasted and prayed. When the 40 days were fulfilled, they came together according to God's commandment. Thus Satan's war against Adam was defeated. In time, Eve travailed and brought forth a son and a daughter. Adam named the son Cain, because hatred stirred within him, even in the womb. And the daughter he named Luluah, for she was beautiful. Adam rejoiced and ministered unto Eve. They gave thanks unto God. Afterward, Eve conceived again and brought forth another son and daughter. Adam named the son Abel, and the daughter Achleah. Adam made offerings for his children and brought them to the cave of treasures to be blessed. After this, Eve ceased from childbearing. The children grew. Cain became hard-hearted and ruled over his younger brother. Often, Cain would not go with his parents to make offerings unto God, but Abel was meek of heart, obedient, and loved prayer and fasting. Satan appeared unto Abel and threatened him with death, but Abel prayed, and Satan fled from him. An angel appeared and said, "Fear not, continue in fasting and prayer, for the Lord has accepted thee." Satan then went unto Cain and planted hatred in his heart. When Cain was 15 years old and Abel 12, their hearts grew far apart. Adam exhorted both sons to make offerings unto God. Abel obeyed gladly, and his offering was accepted. But Cain offered grudgingly, and God did not accept his gift. Cain's countenance fell, and his anger burned. Adam and Eve sought to give their children in marriage. They purposed to give Abel's sister to Cain, and Cain's sister to Abel. Satan whispered to Cain, "If thou kill thy brother, his sister shall be thine." Cain struck his mother Eve and cursed her. Adam grieved deeply, but held his peace. The brothers offered again. God accepted Abel's offering, but rejected Cain's. Cain's wrath grew great. Cain said to Abel, "Come, my brother, let us go into the field." Abel, in his innocence, went with him. When they came to a lonely place, Cain smote Abel with a staff. Abel cried, "O my brother, have pity on me." But Cain took a stone and struck him upon the head until Abel died. The earth trembled and would not receive his body. Abel's blood cried out from the ground. Then the word came to Cain and said, "Where is Abel thy brother?" Cain answered, "Am I my brother's keeper?" The word said, "The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Cursed be the earth for thy sake. Thou shalt be a trembling and a wanderer upon the earth." Yet God did not slay Cain, that he might yet repent. Cain went forth bearing his punishment, and Adam and Eve wept bitterly for their son Abel.